as humans, which we've chosen to be, incarnating here on Earth, we have light and darkness, okay? And it's kind of like the concept of yin and yang, where one is not supposed to exist without the other. One can literally not exist without the other. If you think of light and dark, we always think of them as opposites, but really they're the exact same thing. They're just on different ends of the spectrum, right? So darkness, all the lights are off, it's dark. You light a candle, it's a little bit more light. You put on a few lights, it's more light. You turn on all the lights, it's light now. And so they are the same thing in a spectrum. And a lot of times we can think that we are afraid of our shadows, or we can subconsciously ignore our shadows because we think that they make us bad people. But they don't actually make us bad people. We're meant to have them. We're meant to love them, embrace them, learn from them, shift them into anything we want, okay? And so the beautiful part of life that can make shadows one of the most rewarding work to do is that when you shift shadows into light, you learn so much. We learn so much more from challenges than we do from things being easy, right? And then, throughout life, new shadows may occur, and that's okay. It's kind of consistent work, and it doesn't have to be work that we fear. It doesn't have to be difficult work. But what I'm here to talk about today really is that something that I have come to realize recently is that we actually, as a human race, we fear our light more than we fear our shadows, which is kind of mind-blowing and counterintuitive and not something that I naturally realized, or I did, but it took me a long time. And what I mean by that is we fear our power, our greatness. We fear our wildest dreams, okay? I had this moment in life where for a long time throughout my life, I really struggled with weight. I struggled with being physically active. It was something that I used to numb myself when I wasn't happy. And so I always had this dream, one of my wildest dreams, to trek and hike the Himalayas in India. But I never actually consciously admitted it to myself for fear that I would never be able to accomplish it. And it was almost that I didn't want to let myself down. So even though I had this dream, I never admitted it to myself, which I didn't realize until I was on the top of the Himalayas in India and had spent almost a year physically training for it and had accomplished this. And I was mind blown at the fact that, oh yeah, that's right. Like, I remember reading about the Himalayas as a child. I've always loved nature. I've always loved camping. That's right. Like, this has been one of my dreams. But the reason that I actually did it was because the universe just aligned this incredible opportunity for me to go and do it. And it was somebody else's idea that I went and did, trekked this with. And so I don't know if it was something I would have done on my own, in full transparency. But the universe was like, you have these desires for a reason. The things that we desire are leading us along our path. We're meant to have them. They're meant to guide us. And so the universe was like, yes, you might desire this so much that you're too afraid to admit that you desire it, but we're still going to make it happen. You're still meant to do this. And so it was a huge aha moment in my life where I realized that I fear my light. I am holding myself back from my wildest dreams, from living the life of my dreams, because I have this subconscious fear that I won't accomplish it. And then I'll only be more disappointed in myself, feel more unworthy and more angry. And maybe this is something you can relate to, because I've spent a lot of time in my life being mad at myself, feeling unworthy, feeling angry as to like, why am I not happy yet? Haven't I done enough? I haven't done enough. I am not worthy. And it's like this battle of, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much all the time. I'm exhausted. And then this other voice inside me that's like, you have so much to do. You haven't done enough. Go, go. And so that can be like an example of our light and our darkness. And So something that I've had to really come to learn is that while shadow work is so incredible, so amazing, so worth it, which if you want to learn how to do that more, you can check out my video of why shadow work is amazing. But my point in this one is to realize how we fear our light, and therefore we keep ourselves from accomplishing our wildest dreams, our most fulfilled, happy life. And of course we fear our shadows. I shouldn't say of course, but that's something that feels a little more obvious in day-to-day life. But fearing our shadows was something that really, fearing our light was something that really took like a deep realization. And what fearing our light can look like is like shoving down our dreams, numbing ourselves through addictions. For me, it used to be food, weed, workaholism. I would work 24/7 every day of my life for other people, creating other people's dreams and other people's art, and not creating my own. And a lot of it can be wrapped around a worthiness topic. I think it's something that a lot of us struggle with, is this idea of worthiness. And so by being born in this life, we are inherently worthy of our wildest dreams. In fact, it's actually the point. The point is to have dreams and to move towards them. That it's almost like the same thing as our purpose, okay? Like our dreams are our purpose. And I don't mean that to put more pressure. I mean that like we can let go and surrender and be free to move towards what our heart deepest desires are without any fear or guilt or shame. We are inherently worthy of them. We don't have to worry about whether or not we're worthy. And of course, there's a lot of different limiting beliefs and topics that can come up along this way while working towards our wildest dreams in life. But something that I've had to learn is that whenever that voice in my mind doubts myself of, oh, maybe I haven't done enough, maybe I'm not worthy, maybe somebody won't like it, maybe that person over there will become uncomfortable by me sharing myself authentically, and I don't want to make them uncomfortable. I've started to program myself to be able to almost wave a little flag when those thoughts and feelings come up. And that flag is a reminder of, oh yeah, I have shadows. Oh yeah, I have these limiting beliefs, and let me work on them. Okay, what was that belief that, let me get to the root of that. What is that belief that is holding me back? And how can I change that belief? And the thing that I really love so deeply is affirmations. Journaling is a great tool that I love to use to help me get to the root of a belief, but then affirmations, we can literally rewire our mind and create and accomplish anything in our lives through simply our words, through simply telling ourselves something, even if it's not something that we feel like we believe in the moment. And what I mean by this, the science behind it, is that in our mind, we literally have pathways going through our brain. And so when we tell ourselves a limiting belief again and again and again, we are making that road, that pathway bigger and bigger, so that our thoughts can more easily go down them, and they can just kind of loop and just continue to go down them, which just makes the pathway even bigger. But if we practice affirmations and we tell ourselves, I am worthy of my dreams, and we make that like a daily practice, put sticky notes on your freaking mirrors, write it everywhere, tattoo it on your forehead, you are worthy, then we start to build a new pathway in our mind, and we start to close the old one, and then our thoughts start to go down that, and then it becomes a whole belief system, and the whole way that we walk through this world and live our life and live our truth is by feeling and knowing that we are worthy of it. And the tricky thing about affirmations is usually in the beginning, they feel uncomfortable. Like we're saying something and I'm like, I am worthy of my dream life. But then there's something inside of me, because it's so programmed from the limiting belief, that's like, oh no, this is uncomfortable, but I'm not. Like, am I lying to myself? It's okay, breathe, keep going. The point is through repetition that you literally shift your reality. And so when we change our thoughts, we're changing our energy. And when we're changing our energy field, because we literally carry everything in our energy field, any of your beliefs are carried in your energy field, and everything is energy. Everything is made up of vibrating atoms, okay? And so if I'm carrying a limiting belief in my energy field, I am projecting that out into my aura and out into my external circumstances. And then that energy is literally vibrating at a certain frequency. And then frequencies want to match each other. So then the things that come into my reality want to match that frequency and will show me that limiting belief, will reflect to me that limiting belief. And so if I use affirmations to change my pathways in my mind, that then changes my energy system just naturally, that then creates my energy field and the atoms in it to be vibrating at a higher frequency. And then the things that come into my energy field will match that frequency and then will literally create my reality into the life of my dreams. Okay, so it gives a whole new meaning, is that in order to achieve it, you just have to believe it. That is literally it. But yeah, it's just such a loop of understanding that we fear our light. And like, why we can fear our light is simply because we're afraid to make others uncomfortable. We're afraid to get uncomfortable ourselves. We're afraid to dream our biggest dreams because then we're afraid that what if we don't accomplish them? But once we become aware of that belief system and that thought process, we can free ourselves. Because what is worse than not accomplishing your dreams? It's not even trying because you're afraid that you won't accomplish them, or not even trying because you're afraid that you would accomplish them. And we can get so comfortable in the life that we build because repetition makes us comfortable, right? And so we can build a life, we can numb ourselves, we can distract ourselves, and that can be comfortable. And so to want to make a change and a shift, especially towards our light, it's scary because it's not something that we can imagine, and it feels uncomfortable. But what has really helped me is, instead of looking at like the whole path, just focus on one step at a time. Just focus on one step at a time, reminding us that we're worthy, reminding us that we can fear our light. And so let those flags wave when we have a limiting belief come up, or a thought come up, or maybe even somebody else in our reality is shaming us. Like, oh, that's not what I deserve. I am worthy of my wildest dreams and my light. And this is just kind of a side note, but just wanting to really have that as energy to sit with, of what if we are afraid of our light? And what if we are the thing standing in our own way and holding ourselves back? And what would it look like to free ourselves of that? What would it look like to know that we are inherently worthy of everything that we want in our wildest dreams? And to just take one step at a time towards that, with love and compassion for ourselves.